Welcome to the video, guys. Hope you are doing well and having a good day. So if you're struggling to rank on Amazon organically, struggling with visibility, and as a result of that, sales are low, you may have been impacted by the change of Amazon's algorithm from A9 to A10. In this video, we'll be having a look at what that means, some of the significant changes that have been made, and what you can do to adjust to those changes to improve your sales ultimately. So hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Welcome to the video, YouTube. So Amazon's A10 algorithm, the replacement from their previous A9 algorithm, and some very important changes to the way that they filter search results, which you need to understand as a seller on Amazon or someone who's looking to sell on Amazon to increase your visibility and your sales. So extremely important change from Amazon, and we're going to have a look at why it matters, what it means to you as a seller, and some steps you can take and some changes you can make opposed to the previous way of doing things that are going to help you increase your organic visibility and sales. So Amazon's A10 algorithm. Firstly, you might look at the word algorithm and think, what on earth is an algorithm? But essentially, it's just a process, a set of steps or a sequence. And when we're looking at it in this respect and putting it into context, if you imagine when a buyer performs a search on Amazon, so when you search for a product on Amazon, that query or search term that you've used, for example, yoga mat, is fed into Amazon's algorithm and very quickly turns it round and gives you page one of the search results. So it's filtered through every step of the algorithm where it's checked for relevance, and it will return a list of options, as I mentioned. So the previous A9 was replaced because a lot of crap, basically. It was very noisy on the first page. You'd have sellers who would, for example, have a pretty high, big budget for PPC. They'd be able to rank, but their listing might be pretty crap. So Amazon prioritized profitable products on the first page, not necessarily relevant, good products for customers. So that was the main fundamental reason why they swapped, was simply because the first page wasn't as clean as they would have liked it. And that's very important when you're searching on Amazon. So if we have a look, why does it matter? Just firstly, understanding these changes with A10 that we're going to go through. Why does it even matter for you as a seller? And how can you use this information? So the key word I want you guys to take home from this is placement. Placement being your positioning within the search results for a variety of search terms and keywords. So based on factors such as relevancy, conversion rate, and customer satisfaction / retention, their search algorithm is going to rank you based on those factors, which is why it's very, very important to understand them. Now, to give you guys an example, right, why positioning and placement matters so much. A few statistics underneath here. Over a third of all clicks on Amazon go to the highest ranking items. So if you're ranked 15th or 9th on the first page, you can imagine, if we look at that example, 33% of clicks are going to go to the highest ranking item, meaning you're going to lose out on a lot of clicks, 66% plus. The first three items combined get 64% of the clicks. So if you imagine that on the first page, if you're not number 1, 2, or 3, you're missing out on 64% of the clicks. So if you're having 10,000 searches per month for a search term and you're not in the top 3, that's 6,400 clicks that you're missing out on because of that simple fact, which is crazy. The first page alone gets 81% of all the clicks. So, to expect to be number 1, 2, or 3 instantly in your visibility, your positioning, or your placement is unrealistic. But on the first page, that's something you want to work towards in the first few weeks. And if you're not on the first page, you're going to be missing out on 81% of the clicks. And clicks mean sales. and this is probably why I put this in bold and italic, it is probably one of the most important points of this slide, is that 70% of buyers never even look beyond page 1. So if you're looking at a product again with a search volume of 10,000 searches, 70%, 7,000 of those searches will not see your product if it's placed organically past the first page. It is very, very important. And we're going to look at, and again, guys, I want to mention to you that this A10 is a change that's been made this year. We have made changes to the Elite Academy training to reflect this with what we advise students to do. And we've seen better results from these specific changes being implemented with A10 than the effective ways we used with A9. So just to give you an idea there. Now, looking at some of the key differences from the shift from A9 to A10. Now, number one, something I mentioned at the start, one of the most important things and changes, and we're going to expand on this in the next slide, looking at what you can actually do about this. But Amazon A10 weighs buyer searches more strongly and with more relevance than they did with A9. With A9, the algorithm pushed more profitable products to the top. Like I mentioned at the start, a lot of noise, a lot of crap listings made it up there that had a heavy spend on PPC just because they could. And that is not what Amazon wants. They don't want messy, noisy, bulky, for example, a crappy title that doesn't make any sense. It's just crammed full of keywords with a heavy spend on PPC at the front of the first page. So there's been a shift of focus for more accurate findings for the end user, even if that is resulting in it not being as profitable for Amazon. Number two, also sponsored links don't generate as much importance or success with A10 as they did with A9. Sponsored links, I'm referring to pay-per-click advertising. So your sponsored ad campaigns, when you got clicks from an ad campaign with A9, overall, it would be weighted more than it is now with A10, and it would have influenced your ranking and affected your ranking in a greater way than it is now. And again, some changes that we can look at that you can do about that. Now, if we move forward, so cracking the algorithm. Now, these are a set number of changes we've made within the training, and I want to talk you through some of them. Some of them are more important than others, and we're going to walk through what they mean. And I would highly suggest taking this away and having a look through your listing and see if you can implement some of these changes. So, firstly, photos is one of the biggest things that gets overlooked when a seller creates their first listing. Right? Typically after the first, they have realized how important it is, and they have made enhancements and changes with, product 2, 3, 4, especially with the first product. It's so important to take professional photos that meet Amazon's image requirements. You can Google Amazon image requirements. It's an easy thing to overlook. They've got a list of specific things that you need to make sure you've done, even for the image to become visible on the listing. If you haven't adhered to these requirements, the images won't upload. But professional images, now the main reason for professional images is because the click-through rate is extremely important with Amazon's A10. Now, click-through rate being the amount of people that see your listing and click on it. Okay, so not the amount of impressions you've got, the amount of times people see your listing, but how many times it's clicked on. Now, if you imagine a customer searches for a product, and we'll have a look here now on Amazon's website, and we will search for, let's look at non-slip yoga mats. So we can see here, these are some sponsored impressions, some other listings underneath here that are ranking organically. So that's the search term. Immediately, Amazon's algorithm has filtered these products and given us a first page of results. And we can see here 2 listings are under 250 reviews. Let's have a look at what the revenue figures are, just out of curiosity here, for yoga mats. So pretty good. These are monthly revenue figures. So 16,000 a month, 7,000 per month £48,000 per month. Quite a range there between 2 and 48. But we can see there the yoga mats, even the listing with, let's have a look, far less reviews is still, they're still generating significant revenue. So 336 reviews, we're still doing £16,000. So if we have a look here at these particular listings, the click-through rate is the proportion of people out of the total that see the listing that actually click through to look at the listing. Now, what's influencing me to click through to this listing? A few things. The image, which is why we mentioned that there. The first thumbnail image is so important to encourage the user to click on the product. The title is also very important. It reads nice and smoothly off the tongue, clearly. It's not too crammed, and it's the obvious point that it's grammatically correct and laid out properly. Review count is also a big factor for click-through rate. You can see this listing's got a limited time deal on it as well, another factor, and it's a competitive price. So all these things are a combination that's going to feed into your click-through rate. And click-through rate is now more important with Amazon's algorithm. Now, it isn't just click-through rate, something to mention, and we'll probably mention it again further down, but also conversion rate, again, is weighed more heavily or in favor of with A10. So we don't just want to bring people to the listing, we want to convert those people on the listing, which again will bring us back to one of the second terms I want you to take away with you from this presentation, which is relevancy. The relevancy of your keywords. We mentioned that at the start of the presentation, looking at what the algorithm actually does, but they want relevant search results with listings that actually match what the customer's searching for. So refining your copy so it reads well and clearly, but also contains relevant keywords, is going to help your conversion rate. Because if someone is searching for a non-slip yoga mat and your listing is not a non-slip yoga mat, that might be a negative keyword you want to include there, because you don't want to be showing up constantly in the search results for something that is not relevant, and you're going to perform poorly for your click-through rate and also your conversion rate. And overall, your metrics then will be worse from Amazon's point of view. We want relevant search terms in there. Using tools like Helium 10's Magnet is a good way of doing this. Cerebro, reverse ASIN searches for competitors' listings to get an idea of relevant keywords. Using your search term report is another way to see what is converting well with your search terms, and using those in there as well. Another point that I want to mention, number 3. So think twice again about using too many discounts and promotions. So it was more of an A9 thing. It's not as important with A10. So focusing on off-site traffic is now more important. Right, so if you have your own website ranking on Google, you can use Google AdWords to have ads at the top of Google to get traffic to your website. If you've got a freelancer who specializes in SEO, they can look at that for your niche. Facebook groups, Facebook pages, Instagram pages, influencers, gaining traffic from these external sources. We can see here influencers, bloggers links to your Amazon product page. So diversifying your sources for external traffic. Now, promotions, again, looking underneath, linking into that. What I mean is not having, 75% off in your listing. It devalues the product. We want our product to ooze quality and create that perceived value for the listing, and not be, ultimo cheap, way cheaper than everything else. And the quality is probably going to reflect that. And again, that is very, 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 very important for your conversion rate. We don't want to race to the bottom with the price. We want to position ourselves within the market sensibly, based on the product research that we've done and what we know sells well at what prices. The final point, reviews, again, very, very important. It can be frustrating at the start, but having a plan in place to gain reviews quickly is extremely important. We have methods that we use, tried and tested methods within the Elite Academy that work extremely well for this. But what I find a lot of people do is they just launch with no reviews and no strategy in place to get reviews. And if you're in that position, you can't really expect to get any real traction that you would have hoped to, opposed to if you had reviews. So it's extremely important. Amazon wants to direct buyers to products they think most relevant. I don't even know if that actually makes sense. They think most relevantly match their searches, and having a product that implies trust with lots of positive reviews. So again, positive reviews show A10 that customers are buying, they're happy with what they're buying. Amazon then want to place you higher up in the search results. So looking at using Amazon to request a review button, product inserts, you're allowed to give products away for free as long as it's not contingent on receiving a review. If you give away products to people that you know, excluding family, people who can test the product neutrally, impartially, you can follow up with them a week or two later, asking them, do they want to leave some feedback, an honest review? So really having a strategy in place, I can't emphasize that enough with Amazon's new A10, having a strategy in place before you launch regarding reviews. Don't just worry about it once the listing is launched. So that's the bulk of what I wanted to mention, guys. You can do some reading on this if you like. Just having an understanding of what the differences are and the changes that you need to make regarding A10 is extremely important to help your listing gain that important momentum early on, convert well, and ultimately generate sales for you to build your business and invest in future products. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Lots more to come, and I'll see you guys in the next one.